I'm new money, so new money's loud,
Yeah.
right? I just got here.
The drink been calling me. Don't kill the party.
More eyeballs, more networking opportunities.
7 years of you grinding away, learning, figuring it out, pivoting. How did then really start to kind of compound?
You're like going deal to deal. You are not really building any structure or security in your life. Next year, if I don't get deals, I don't make any money.
What's up, everybody? It's Lorenzo with Link Live. We're welcomed today by Aram G Realty for episode 21. In this episode, we're talking Aram's entire journey when he started as a regular agent and made his first real money in real estate and what it took to get him into flipping over 40 plus houses a year. Aram is now also coaching the next generation of flippers and those individuals getting into real estate, going through all of that on this episode of Link Live. So without further ado, let's hop right into it. Appreciate the support as always. All right, Link Live, we're back with another episode. We're welcomed in the studio today by Aram G Realty, as people may know. Super excited to have you. Appreciate you coming down.
Of course.
Like all episodes, right? We want to hop into it kind of at square one and talk through your background and upbringing and, you know, what got you to this point you're at today. I obviously have a lot of questions we want to kind of dive into, but, you know, talk to us about, you know, life before real estate, social media, flipping.
Yeah.
What were some of those early influences like?
Okay. So I'm an immigrant. I came to America when I was 9 years old. So before that, I grew up in Armenia up until then. And I was a 9-year-old. So really, I didn't know much about the world. I moved here. I had to learn English. I learned a lot about culture because I was in ESL classes with like a bunch of different like countries, you know?
Yeah.
And then I was going to high school. I shuffled through a bunch of different careers trying to figure out what I want to do. I had no idea, so I became a criminal justice major, mechanical engineering major, a business major, and I was like, you know what? I'm just going to get into real estate. And then 10 years later, here we are.
Love it. You mentioned like you immigrated here. What do you remember about those experiences that were like maybe different than what you expected it to be like in America, right? I'm sure you came into, obviously you were young, but I'm sure you came here with like some sort of like predetermined notion of like, I'm going to be a doctor, a football player, whatever it is, right? The whole American dream. I guess what were like those challenges like, or what shocked you about that experience?
When I came here at 9, I just thought it would be a lot brighter because in the movies, like lights, you know, people everywhere. I just landed in the airport and went home. So I'm like, this is kind of boring.
Yeah.
I thought America was supposed to like smell different. The air's got to be different. It was all the same. But in regards to like the American dream, honestly, I feel like I'm living it. So it's exactly what I expected it to be. I just wanted the opportunity, and I think this country provides that. So I was very, very grateful. It was a lot harder than I expected and a lot more competitive than I expected. But overall, the opportunity is there if you're willing to work.
Love it. I just had a random question that popped up because you said American dream, and I feel like a lot of the people I see, talk to, right? I have a European background. A lot of the people that immigrated here seem to me to be living the American dream more than the people that were like born here. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Do you agree with that, or like why do you think that is?
I 100% agree with that. It's just a matter of perspective, right? So if you grow up here, you don't understand how great you have it, right? For example, if you've never had sparkling water, you're probably like, don't know what that is, and you're not gonna appreciate it as much, right? Just a simple example. Like if you come from like, at least from our country, it's not like you cannot just be rich if you want to. Like you have to be either born into it, you have to do some shady stuff, or like you just got to get pure luck, which you can't. Not everyone could get up and just be lucky every day, right?
100%.
But here the opportunity exists and the economy is there to actually provide you anything you want, right? And I think when you're like an immigrant, you come here, that is your goal, versus when you grow up here, that you're just here, you're just existing, right? And I don't think we complain as much. We just get straight to work.
Right.
And I think that's the difference.
Head down mentality for sure.
Oh, yeah.
So throughout like high school, college, I feel like a lot of entrepreneurs, founders, creators, they have some like early inspiration or some sort of like inflection point where they understand like maybe I want to do something a little bit different. Like maybe like the traditional corporate route is not for me. Was there an experience like that for you where you felt that or started to realize that over time?
Honestly, there wasn't like a single like shift. A lot of my life has just been kind of going through, trying to figure things out. And honestly, a lot of times I'm winging it, trying to figure it out. When I was in high school, I knew no rich people. I didn't grow up around money or business owners. So I really didn't know this whole world existed, right? So that's why I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna go to college and get a degree. And I chose criminal justice because I love cars and they get to drive a Charger. And I was
Yeah.
like, you know what? I get to have my own personal car and I get to drive a Charger and I don't have to be in the office every day, right? I just wanted something exciting. And then I realized I'm 5'7" and I don't care enough to be risking my life for complete strangers, right? But it's not the career path for me. And then
Makes
once I got
sense.
into college, I did the research. That's when I discovered all the other avenues.
Cool. Was it always real estate after you shifted out of kind of the criminal justice realm? Did it go straight there?
No. So after criminal justice, I then determined I want to be a business owner, right? Because I just wanted to be rich, man. I didn't come here to like be poor. I was poor back home, so I want to come here and make money, right? So I'm like, okay, how can I make money? If you look around, really, it's business owners. They're the only ones that are actually making a lot of money, or super high end like corporate guys. Which
Sure.
I never knew that existed at that time, right? So I was like, I got to be a business owner, but you need money to start a business, right? So I'm like, okay, great plan. I'm gonna become a mechanical engineer. They make good money. I think they make like 80 grand a year. I'll get my degree by 23. I'll work until 30. I'll save all my money. At 30, I'll start a business. At 35, I'm rich. That was a grand plan. Until I encountered physics as a class. I got 27% in that class. I was like, same for me.
No.
So I dropped out, I switched to a business, and that was so easy. I was like, dude, I'm not going to waste 2 years getting a business degree and going into 40, 50K in debt. Because, again, when you don't have money, 40, 50K is still a tremendous amount of money. I'm like, dude, I'm not going to get out of this debt till I'm 40. I can't start my business. So I just took that money and just applied it to my business.
Yeah.
As I discovered real estate.
Love it. I definitely want to get into this later in the episode, but I feel like socially and digitally today, there's so much misinformation out there about real estate in general and the different avenues and channels and ways to make money in real estate. So I want you to kind of debunk some of those. And I feel like you often do already in your content, but
we'll get into that for sure.
Love it. You talked a lot about a part of your story is like how you became an agent before you got into the flipping and more the investment side of the business. I guess talk about like that initial experience and like what sort of, I guess, I don't know, swayed you away from being an agent, right? I know there's a story that you have about kind of running into a flip accidentally, and that opened your eyes to kind of this bigger world behind the scenes. Talk about that initial period of how you got your feet wet in real estate and maybe some of those like misconceptions about the glitz and glam of being a real estate agent.
Okay, I got you. So I got to bring it full circle with like when I was originally deciding on what to do with my life and I want to be a business owner, right?
Yep.
And when I decided I'm no longer going to go to college, I'm like, okay, what business can I start today, right? And then one thing I did realize is all rich people are somehow involved in real estate, right? So I started just researching real estate, and that's where the algorithm showed me becoming a real estate agent, right? Because before this, my business was going to be opening up a kiosk at the mall because it was $6,000 startup cost. I'm like, I could do that. I got a credit card with 4,500 on it, and I got 1,500 in the bank. I could figure it out, right? But then when I became like realized what real estate agents do, I'm like, wait, I could get my license for just $2,000. Again, got a credit card, so I could put it on that, and I can just get into the sales side of it. And then eventually, my grand plan was I learn the industry inside out, and then I'll become an investor. I'll make my money as an agent, invest as an investor, and I'll be super rich, right? That was the grand plan. And that kind of falls in line with like the misconceptions. I thought that was the way to do it because I didn't know any better, right? So I got into real estate, and I kind of just, one of my biggest regrets is I spent like 7 years trying to become a top producing agent, only to give it all up to become an investor. And like, obviously I had better results as an investor. If I could take those years of my youth back and then just go at 19 years old and just go straight into being an investor, I think I'd have a completely different life. But
everything happens for a reason, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of agents, or at least what I could see, a lot of agents seem to like maybe try to dabble in both areas, right? They don't want to like risk the security maybe of being an agent of what they built maybe for 5, 6, 7 years, but they don't want to go full blown into the investment. I wanted to ask you, like, what do you think are the biggest reasons as to why all real estate agents don't do what you do or don't make the flip and practice what you preach?
It's scary, dude. Like, you have to buy, you're actually like, you're attached to the property. As brokers, you're the middleman, right? You don't have to own anything. You don't have to put up any money. You just broker the deal.
Yep.
So that's easy. You not really have to risk anything other than your time, which we have an abundance of if you're younger or whatever, you just get into business. But what really, like, owning an asset, like, I'm in millions and millions of dollars of debt. I got to pay that carrying cost every single month, right? Or if you're doing your first flip, Like if it goes over budget, you're actually now losing money, right? So imagine you're making zero money, now you're losing money.
Yeah.
So it's a very scary thing to do, especially if you don't know what a good deal is, how to find a good deal, contractors, the proper financing ways. Like if you don't know all that, it's so much to learn versus, oh, you want to buy a house? I could show you some houses on the MLS. I write up a contract, I'll make 2.5%, right?
Yeah.
So it's a lot easier. I will say it's a complete, like when it comes to like real estate, a lot of people call what I do investing. It's not investing, right? I have a business in real estate, which is why I'm able to make so much more money faster. If I was an investor, investing is naturally slow and long term, right? So being a real estate agent is a business, being a flipper is a business, but investing is just buy and hold and long term thinking.
Sure. What's your opinion on like certain people in different age ranges, right? Because everybody's like, get your first townhome and rent it out and cash flow $300 and just hold it until you're 50. And then, right, you have your perspective. You're like, no, take that same investment, flip it, parlay it into something else. Where do you really think is like the best way present day someone could get started, right? Say they're sitting on, I don't know, 50 grand, not even 30, 40 grand that they want to invest into the game.
Man, so it's going to piss a lot of people off. So obviously do what you are comfortable with and what you think is best for you. But I'm just saying, from my perspective, the knowledge I have, if you gave me 30,000, there's no way on earth I'm going to go put all of that in an asset, say a townhouse with 5% or 10% down and waiting 30 years.
Sure.
In 30 years, I'll be in my 50s or 60s. What am I going to do with that? I've enjoyed no part of my life, and I've been broke the whole time. You know, we buy properties from tired landlords every day for a reason. You know, I don't think it's the best way to get rich.
Yeah.
You know, if you have but you have to have like the tolerance for risk to do the other stuff. So that's why I say, know yourself first. Like if you don't have the tolerance for risk, do that, right? But if you do, if you already started a business, just go all in.
Yeah. Love it. Let's dive a little deeper into that initial story when you came across the first flipping opportunity for yourself.
Yeah.
I guess like how did that come about? And then like when did you have that realization? Maybe what parts of it were not as easy as maybe they should have been versus what you know now?
So originally, remember, my goal was to get into real estate to become an investor, right?
Yeah.
So my 50, when I finally made a little bit of money, that's when I actually even asked the question of, okay, how do I invest now? Right? Before that, I was like, just deals, like, you know, buyers and sellers every day, right? So when I asked that question, I'm like, okay, the only thing I know to make money fast is flipping. So I'll go find a flip. It took me about 9 months looking on the MLS to find a deal, right? Not because there was no deals, it's because I had no idea what I was doing, right? So I had probably let like at least 20 deals pass me by because I either didn't know or I was too scared, right? Eventually, and I think this is a lot of luck, like just the right house came up in the right location that I was comfortable enough to pull the trigger on, which was 4 minutes from the condo I already owned. And I was like, worst case scenario, I'll just live in the damn thing, right? And it was super cheap. We bought it for $225. So I'm like, overall, like, it's not a $500,000 project where I'm like nervous, right? Still hella scared.
Yeah.
We did that deal, and I actually hated flipping after that. I was like, this is stupid. I just waited like 6 months. No, it was 3 months. I was stressed out the whole time. I was running in and out of Home Depot. And I'm like, this is stupid. And all I made was like, after I paid investors off, like 19 grand, 19.8 or something like that.
Yeah.
I could have just sold 3 houses without any of this stress. So I said, fuck that. There's no way that actually works. So then at that point, I was actually sitting on a lot of investor capital, and they're like, okay, keep investing it. Because they were happy they made 20 grand, which was at least 30-40% on their money annualized. They're like, do it again.
Yeah.
I was like, well, hold on now. That's when I discovered commercial real estate. And I was like, you know what? We need to buy apartments. That's the way to do it. So like, I think I closed on my first flip we sold it off May 3rd or May 5th. By mid-June, I was under contract for a 7-unit. I ended up closing on that in August, and then I bought another one in November. So I had like 14 units that first year. So then I forgot about flipping entirely. I'm like, I'm running apartments now. So I'm gonna raise millions of dollars. I'm gonna go buy apartments. I'm gonna be a syndicate, and that's how I'm gonna make my money. I'll survive on my management fees and acquisition fees, and then I'll make huge profits on the back end. Until you realize no lender will give you any money unless you have a massive track record, which you don't in the beginning, or you have a cosigner, none of which I had. Even though I was able to raise the money, they're like, down payment's $250. I raised 500 grand, right? They're like, we're not giving you a loan, even though you got a great deal on your hands. You got all the capital you need. You're too young, too inexperienced, and you don't have any cash.
Yeah.
And because you're the guarantor, we don't care how much money you raise. Well, I kind of like put a stop to that. And I was still a broker, and this is where like the accidental thing happened. When I sold our first flip in May of 23 or 24, oh no, it was 2022, I think. I had sent out $2,500 worth of mailers because I was sitting on like 265 in my account. I was like, what's $2,500? Let's send it. Again, not my money, investor money. I had permission to do it.
Yeah.
Right. So I send it out, and I got like 25 calls of people cussing me out. I'm like, what are you bothering me for, bro? It was an offer. Like, throw the mailer out. So then I called the mailing company. I said, cancel that shit. It's not working. Everyone's upset at me. Like, no one wants to sell a house. I'm not interested. 9 months later, it was like April, I think. I get a random call from a guy named Randy. He's like, hey, I got your mailer. I'm like, when did you get a mailer from me, dog? I haven't sent mail ever.
Yeah.
He's like, I've been holding on to it since May of the year prior. I'm like, what do you thought? He had a tenant that wasn't paying. He just was waiting for them to leave. He called me and only me. I showed up. I made an offer for 125, and my whole goal was to wholesale it to one of my clients because I had a lot of investor clients at that point.
Yeah.
That was like my niche. And I was gonna it was genius plan, bro. I was gonna make 10 grand when I wholesale it to him, and I was gonna list it for 2.5 on the back. I was gonna double dip, make a fortune. And then I lock it down, and then I call the guy to sell it to him. He didn't answer the phone, and now my anxiety is like, well, he didn't answer the phone. I'm on the contract. How do I do this, right? And then my friend's like, why don't you just buy it? Mind you, I've already had 2 apartment buildings at this point. I've done a flip. I'm still not thinking I should just buy it, right? But he asked that question. I said, let me check. See, I went on my phone and I put in hard money lender. And then I found one guy. I'm like, I probably talked to him when I was trying to get the first loan, ended up raising like old cash. And I called him. I said, okay, what do I need to get this loan? He's like, 10% down. I'm like, I need $12,500. That's all I need. He's like, yeah. I'm like, ended up being like 18,000 with closing costs. Everything was like 28,000, right? But I had 40 grand in my operating account for the first apartment building we bought. I'm like, that'll do. Yeah. So we did that flip. I made $60,000. I went to the property 3 times because I bought a deal with margin. So I was able to hire the right contractor, pay him what he needed to be paid. He handled the whole process for me. I showed up 4 times, 3 times to make content, 1 time to see the finished product. And then we sold it within start to finish. It was like 94 days. I made 60 grand.
Wow.
I was like, if I do this 4 times a year, I'm rich as hell. And I have freedom. I have true time freedom. No clients, no nothing. And then I was like, I called the mailing company back. I said, I got a credit card with 9 grand. I want to spend all of it right now. Just charge me immediately and then just send it out. That led to 2 more deals and then just catapulted to now we're doing 30 a year. This year we'll actually probably crack 45.
Wow. That's where I want to go. I want to talk about kind of the volume next, but that's very intriguing. The mailers part to me, right?
Me too,
marketing world here. Do you still do that, or you don't need to do that anymore?
I was doing it up until about a month ago, but I'm in a unique situation because I have the coaching program where I teach people to do the same. They send out mailers as well, so it's like, and they bring me the deal, so it's like counterproductive for me to do it, you know.
And on those mailers, you're essentially just trying to pique people's interest to see if they want to sell.
Not necessarily. So they're very targeted lists that we mail to.
Okay. Like
people that are distressed, like absentee owners, tired landlords, foreclosures, probates, recently, anything that might need to sell fast and with cash, right? Okay. And then the mailer has it like a really lowball offer already on it. So if you call me on that, you already know you're taking it out, right? And we're not really looking for homes that are like fully remodeled because those people know you could just list it.
Yeah.
These are homes that need 60K, 50K, whatever, or quick sale because their mortgage is doing $4 grand a month, right? And then those are the people calls.
Nice. How are you guys going about at that time and even now fielding those lists, finding those right areas?
Yeah.
Right. Because I know a lot of this has to do with location, different suburbs, and all kind of those valuations. How does that work? Without giving away too many secrets, but like, how are you really like kind of fielding these leads and these lists?
So the data is actually super easy to get. Like right now we're in the information game, right? So like everybody, if you go to like the easiest website to go to is PropStream. There's literally a list that says pre-foreclosures. I send that to my mailing company. I said, mail this list. There's usually like anywhere from like 1,500 to 2,000 new people every single month, right? So you mail to them. The absentee owner list is like basically someone who owns a home doesn't live in it. There's like 50,000 of those houses. You just mail to them every single month. Eventually you'll hit, right? And then just other metrics you look at, okay, who's late on their mortgage, and the website will show you how to get all that information. Yeah.
Very cool. So in between that gap of time when you sold your first flip and made 60 grand on that.
That was the second.
Second, sorry. How did then really start to kind of compound? What were the next steps you took? Either like operationally as a business or individually to say, okay, this is something I want to turn into my full-time thing, and there's real structure around this if I want there to be?
Great question. So you said earlier you can't really do two things at the same time, right? As soon as I saw, I was like a week or two before like going under, like closing on that deal, making my 60K, I kind of knew I was going to give up real estate entirely. Like I wasn't even hanging out to like the clients that were still with me. Like I literally called them out and said, I'm no longer your real estate agent. I just got paid $60,000. I have no intention of getting stuck in traffic to show you a house to make $3,000. I'm sorry, I could refer somebody to you, but I'm not doing it. So I cold turkey, never picked up another client again because I just want to be single-minded, focused on that. I had a credit card with Amex, no interest for 12 months for $9,000. Called the mail company. I was like, you know what? This worked. So let's do it again, right? But let's do it 3 times more money than I spent last time. Theoretically, I should get 2 to 3 deals. It's exactly what happened. I'm getting 2 deals. And then what really helped me catapult is that as I was trying to figure things out is obviously finding deals the most important, because having a good deal makes everything so much easier, right? I don't have to penny pinch the contract, which means I get good work. And I can actually give the investor a good portion of the profit, especially when you're new. So that way it's easier to raise capital, right? So basically, first deal came in. It was a house in Crystal Lake. I went, gave the man an offer for $147 cash. I did not have that money in my account. And then I called my past client list. I was like, hey, man, I got this deal. Actually, I called one person because I wanted specifically him because I like working with him. And I gave him a sweetheart deal. I was like, I'll give you 60% of profits, right? Or minimum 25K. There's no way you lose because this deal is going to make 55, right? I was like, best case scenario makes 55. Worst case scenario makes 40. Either way, you're making 25,000 or like 32,000. He was like, I'm in. So he financed the whole thing. And at first I was like, okay, I can only really do one deal at a time because I got to raise so much capital, right? Because the hard money loans are great, but they're expensive.
Sure.
And then as I did another deal and another deal, I had a deal in Arlington Heights. I did the same thing. I raised like 300,000 for it, right? Actually, no, 380,000 for it. And I was like, and then the hard money lender sent me a spreadsheet of how much I would have made if I just put like the 10-15% down. After all the fees, I would have made an extra 30 grand versus sharing my profits. So then I'm like, okay, maybe I don't have to raise hundreds of thousands of dollars anymore. I could just raise 30 to 50 and do it that way, which means I could do so many more fees. I have unlimited money at this point. And then that's basically what happened. I just kept fucking doubling down on the mailers over and over again. It just kept coming back with money, with like deals. And then I just started trying new things. And then once you start getting in the game, like deals just kind of come to you. Like just yesterday, I got a deal. I didn't even know. I woke up, I got to the office, I was about to work, check my phone, deal. I was like, oh, that was easy. I'm done for the day. Right? But in the beginning, I had to like kind of grind that out. And then I will say when I was like new, I was like, if I could just do like 5 to 10 deals a year, like, so I'm so happy, right? Because when we're not doing that much, it seems like a lot, right? And then one thing that really helped me out a lot is, this is coming down to what you do for work, is the social media, right? I've shared my journey like very like authentic. If you go back to YouTube in 2017, you'll see me there. Right? I never claimed to be an expert. I was like, look, dog, I'm here first year. This is what we did. Second year, this is what we did, right? This is what I'm learning. So I did the same thing when I was on the investing space. And I think there's just so much bullshit on the internet that if you just share real like business, like real knowledge, like real struggle, real success, right? The people are actually already doing it as well. Gravitate to that, right? That's why I try, even my marketing team, like, do not post the BS, right? Because I'm losing all the real people I'm making connections with. That makes me real money, right? So there was a gentleman, a good mentor, my good friend of mine now, shout out to Hugh, and he had DM me. He's like, let's grab a drink. I was like, sure. I'm like, this guy's doing so much volume. He's my age. And he was like, dude, how can you only do 10 deals? I was like, bro, 10 is enough. Like, I might not even make it to 10 this year. Like, what are you talking about? That being around the right people that make this impossible task seem so easy,
right? That
gave me the conviction to go get it, right? That year, I think I did 10. Then we catapulted to 30.
What, for perspective, what year would this have been? How long ago?
Okay, so my first year actually flipping, I did those 2 deals, right? Which was a Hoffman Estates deal and then a Schaumburg deal. The next year, I want to say we did 10. So that next year we did 10. And then the following year we did 30. So this is only my 4th year actually being a flipper, and we'll probably crack 45.
Crazy.
Yeah. I've already sold like 10 this year.
Crazy. I have a couple questions on, right? The biggest thing, and I think the part of that whole process that may daunt people is the financing aspect, right? Navigating the lending world and either that or raising capital. Right? Because there may be somebody out there listening to this, right? It could be one kid. He's in his 20s. He knows he wants to do something more. He could do it. And I'm sure you come across this with your
All the time.
students, but they maybe don't feel the confidence because they don't have a portfolio of contacts that they could go to raise money or the confidence to go get that loan. I guess the question is like, what would you say is like a comfortable route, or what would you tell a student at that point where they kind of are unsure either way? And what are the misconceptions around that?
So one is a huge perspective shift, because a lot of people look at it as I'm asking for money when it comes to the raising capital side, right? You're not necessarily asking for money. You're presenting an opportunity for someone to make money.
Sure.
So when you switch that perspective, like, why wouldn't somebody want to invest in me? Assuming you put in the investment in yourself to actually be able to know what a good deal is, find it, put in the work ethic, put in the time, so show somebody, okay, this is someone I want to put my money into. So that's really step one. A lot of people are like, no one's going to give me money. I'm like, no shit, bro. You haven't left your basement in 2 years.
Well, that was another follow-up question, which is like, you obviously have the track record now, right? It takes like all the sale out of it. You don't really got to sell anything. Here it is. Here's the numbers. Here's what we've done. This is the opportunity. For someone that doesn't have the track record, doesn't have the credibility, what is their, I guess, recommended outlet or route to pursue?
2 points on that. So for the track record, it took me 7 years to build that, right? To become a real estate agent, build my name, build relationships so people trust me, do business the right way, right? So that was 7 years that nobody really saw. Like, oh, you just got money right away, right? Second of all, I put my money up first to find the deals. Like, a lot of people are afraid to spend $2,000 on marketing. You want someone to give you $200,000. Right? Are you kidding me? Right? So that was one stage of it. Like, I already done the work, and most importantly, I found a great deal. And the beautiful thing about real estate is the track record. Yes, you are important because you're the guy that executes. But the market is like, it's not a business where like we don't know what's gonna happen.
Sure.
Houses, 3-bed, 2-bath, sell for $300,000. You're buying one for $150,000. You got a quote for $60,000 on rehab. There's the numbers, right? Now, when you explain it that way, you can share the comps. That takes experience and knowledge. Now, the cheat code to all of this is just find someone that's already done it and bring them the opportunities and work with it, right? A lot of my students do that same thing. Even though I tell them, you can go raise the capital on your own, but they'll find a great deal. And locally, obviously, I already have the track record. Like, remember I said earlier, I can't get any loans because I didn't have a cosign.
Yeah.
I now provide that cosign, right? So if you bring a good deal, I'm like any other investor. I look at a great deal. I see great margin. I'm like, I do my own due diligence. I'm like, okay, let's do it. I'll co-sign on it, or I'll partner with you. That's the cheat code. I wish I did that a little bit earlier than giving away 60% of my profits for no reason. Right. So that's the easiest way to do it. If you're thinking of a daunting task, just find someone that's actively doing it. Either bring them the opportunities enough times where they'll let you partner with them, or again, bring the opportunity, but like, I'll only do this if you partner with me and put my name on the deed so I can get a track record.
Love it. Very cool. So you go from flipping about 10 houses a year to, getting to the realm of 30 plus. Operationally, what were the biggest shifts? What changed, right? People you were surrounding yourself with, other professionals. How was the operation different?
Yeah.
On either side?
So, man, we had a huge learning curve because we exploded so fast that it got to a point where we were making money, but we weren't really able to keep it because our carrying costs were so high, right? I would make $60,000 a month, but that doesn't matter because my carrying cost was 57.
Sure.
Not including any of my marketing, right? And I was like, oh my God, how am I selling all these houses and not making any money? Something's not right. So that's where I learned. I'm like, we need to scale appropriately. That's number one. So I actually kind of slowed down this year so that way I could clean everything up.
Yep.
I hired an assistant that gets rid of all the stuff that I don't need to be worrying about, like administrative work, scheduling this, scheduling that. So that kind of sped up our timelines, right? And then with my business partner, I figured I'm a big fan of sharing the pie, and I'm not a big fan of doing everything myself, right? So when the year I did 10, I was all solo, right? I was keeping 100%.
Yep.
The year I did 30, I went to my business and my GC. I said, look, we've been working together for 2 years, right? Why don't we just partner? You could save on my construction costs, which will allow me to say yes to more deals, right? A deal that now would only make me $30,000, now is making me 50. I would say yes to that deal because I'm really only losing $5,000, but look at the safety, security, and minimum time investment, which would allow me to go and spend time finding even more deals, right? So one thing I've focused on is what I'm good at and not what I'm not good at. Construction, don't know it too. I know it well, but like not really good at it. Don't want to organize jobs. Don't want to deal with the contractors. My business partner does all that, right? And that's what allowed us to grow. And in the process of growing, he had to grow and had some operational changes too. Because originally, now this is the problem we're facing, the costs were low because he was doing the work. But I had so much free time, I brought so much business in that he could only handle. We had like we had 11 projects at one given time. I was like, whoa. And it was taking way too long. So now our projects were being even more expensive to do because they were taking too long. So now we ended up subbing everything out. So now basically he manages all the projects. My job is to find projects. He manages them, and like it's a perfect symbiotic relationship.
Love it. I feel like it's always the common answer when people like start to do more volume, those results compound, is like they delegate out. Focus what they're good at.
Yeah. It does kill your profit margins, which is kind of like hard to see. Like for example, I'm probably making the same money with 30 flips as if I did like 13 flips, right? However, I'm spending significantly less time.
What's the long-term vision on that, right? Because that may be the case now, but it's probably a short-term punch for a very long-term return, I would assume.
On the business, like what I plan to do next? Or so I actually never wanted to be a flipper long-term. Okay. I think it's the same as being an agent. When you're like going deal to deal, you are not really building any structure or security in your life.
Got it.
It's like every next year, if I don't get deals, I don't make any money, right? So I don't really want to live the rest of my life like that. It's a nice adrenaline rush every morning. But so the point of being in flipping is to make a lot of money fast.
Sure.
And then take that money and invest it intelligently. So that way I have like assets that are growing over time while I'm making active income, investing in businesses and real estate and different industries if I can, like kind of branch out. And then honestly, at this point, the flipping is pretty much on autopilot. I don't really have to do anything there. Like the deals come to me. We have the team. I got the financing. I don't even raise money anymore. Like it's pretty smooth, right? I'm like, what's the next challenge? Let me see what's going on. So now we've gotten to development, which is basically doing significantly less deals. I can make, with building new homes, if I build 5 new homes a year, my net profit after all the splits is the same as me doing 30 flips a year, right? So that's on autopilot. We're adding a whole new layer. And I'm going to see if this new development is actually real or people are bullshitting about these numbers.
Yeah.
So far, I think a lot of people are bullshitting about these numbers. Yeah. So we'll see.
Let's hop into that. It was a perfect segue.
Yeah.
Talk about why some of the people in the industry, doesn't even have to be locally, but you see it in a lot of big markets, Miami, New York, whatever it is. They throw out a lot of misconceptions about the space. And it could be in so many different areas. As a real estate agent, as a flipper, as a wholesaler, as an investor. Talk about like, I don't know, just your opinion on that. Like what's real versus what's not. Maybe how the common guy could determine what's real and what's not.
Boy, it's so hard. Even I get bamboozled all the time.
Because people are leveraging social and leveraging other naive individuals to profit in that way without actually doing the real 100%.
Work. 100%. A lot of times, to be honest, and I struggle with this too, if you're doing something that really, really works, and you'll notice with like business owners in real life, they're not really too excited to tell you the secret recipe to, like, this is how I made $1 million. Like, if I tell you now, I'm making 800,000 because it took 2 from me, right? There's that aspect of it. So like, if I hear the word secret recipe, this and that bullshit, I'm like, come on, there's no secret recipe. Like, spend money on marketing. The deals come to you and have the experience and knowledge to know how to execute. Yeah, that's all it is, right?
Yep.
So that's kind of like the biggest like buzzwords I look for. And then if the profits just don't seem real, like I'm in the business, so I know what the average flipper's making, right? I also know people who are crushing it behind the scenes, like what they're making, right? And what it takes to get that deal. Like, if you're not doing these actions, then I know you're bullshit, right?
Yeah.
And then you can always like even with like new development, right? I know construction costs. Like I know how much it costs to build a house now. So when I look at how much you sold it for and what your lot purchase was, and I know you got a hard money loan, I could work the math backwards and be like, bro, you made 100,000. What are we doing here? Like, we can make that flipping if you know the right strategies, right? Sure. Not with every flip, but I'd rather make 2 flips that make 45K, make my 90 in 3 to 4 months, than build a house from the ground dirt to make 100,
Makes sense. You mentioned earlier too, right? You've kind of put yourself into this content game, maybe now 8 or 9 years back. Where have you seen the biggest impacts from that? How has it like amplified your business, not just in terms of like making more money, but how has it kind of impacted and amplified your persona, your confidence, and everything else that goes into running the show?
Confidence, not much, because I get my confidence for just my achievements of like, I started here, now I'm here, and that was not on accident. But it has helped me so tremendously with credibility and networking, right? Like if you're worth like 100 million, it's pretty easy to network. You're worth 100 million. Everybody wants to know you, right? But if you're making like 150, $200,000 a year, it may seem like you're the man, but unfortunately, and I learned this hard way, you're not. Like there's people making $1 million a year, $500,000 a month. Like these people exist, right? So social media gives me like now all these people making like $1 million a year, whatever, like where they have bigger business success, they either crave the attention or need the attention for whatever their business does, right? So that allows me to get into these rooms where I would never be based on my income bracket or my track record or my experience, or whatever I've done in my life, right? So that's what social media has helped me the most. I've networked with people that are like, I'm like, you can make this kind of money, like,
Yeah.
and you don't work, like, and that's where I learned the delegating. I'm like, wait a minute, I thought you're supposed to work hard every day. You've been drinking since Tuesday.
Exactly. That makes sense. How much of that to like do you give back to the area you, I guess, were like blessed to come into, right? How much of it has to do with like the market of the Illinois suburbs or the Chicago influence? Do you think if like maybe you live somewhere else, like this wouldn't have happened the way it did?
I believe so, honestly, because being in a major city, like there's just like, again, economy, it's just more opportunities, right? There's more millionaires here. There's more nice cars. There's more nice houses.
Yeah.
It's like if you sell luxury real estate in Alabama, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
You got 2 houses to sell a year, right?
Exactly.
Here it's super easy, right? So just because there's an abundance of opportunities, it means high likelihood that they come to me.
Got it. I want to talk a little bit about the coaching aspect of what you do as well. I'm sure that's a pretty significant part of your operation and day to day. When did that get kind of folded into, I guess, the business? And talk us through like if someone was interested in taking part in what you do, how that works.
Great question. I want to say I started coaching about 2.5 years ago. At that point, I'd done like 4 flips, and it's honest with everybody. I'm like, listen, I've done 4 flips. I can't get you anywhere but 4 flips. I've done that. I'll teach you how to do that, right? The reason I do it, one, with the flipping, if you're only doing like, let's say 4 flips a year, you're mostly broke until the day you sell your property, and so you need some type of cash flow. I was like, okay, I need to figure out a way to make cash on a monthly basis, and I just got sick and tired of like seeing people who've done like 1 flip or 2 flips, selling a program for 5, 10K. I'm like, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
Let me get a piece of that, okay? Because I could take the money and still teach people at the same time, actually bring value,
Sure.
right? So that's how it started, and then like it kind of took off. Whereas, like, there's a lot of businesses that are just not scalable, right? You just can't make more than like 20 grand a month doing that business. This is where a lot of people I notice will start a coaching program and teach people how to get to 20. Great, God bless you, right? But what I do for a living, I get to 200 a lot easier doing what I do than if I was to have the coaching program.
Sure.
So I go back and forth with that thing all the time. I've canceled it like 3 times already, you know. I keep raising the price so like less people join, because I'm not really trying to do like that too much.
Sure.
Right? Because actually there was a point where I noticed all of July I didn't buy a single goddamn house. I'm like, I've been busy helping like 15 new people start from scratch. I just go do my own thing.
Right.
Like, how much do I have to charge to even justify this? Right?
You're kind of helping your competitors too.
A little bit.
A little bit. Like,
a little bit.
Not that you're probably not like threatened by any means in that way, but like after a while you're probably like,
honestly, there's just one thing I like: abundance. There's so much abundance out here, dude.
Yeah.
And even if they may beat me on a deal this year, they're probably gonna give up next year. I'm gonna be here, right? And I think I'm a little bit further ahead where it makes more sense to collaborate with me now than it would be to go out there and compete, right? So a lot of times, even with my students, we do a lot of deals together, 50-50 partnerships. They wholesale them to me, or I'll co-sign and make their lives easier. If we could collaborate, we do it, right? One thing I learned just recently is like, if you can help a lot of people do a little, you'll actually be a lot richer than if you just focus in on helping 5 people do 40 flips a year.
right.
Then you're cooked.
Yeah.
Right? But if I help 100 people just get to 3 a year, and then what they want to do after that is their prerogative, then like that actually allows me to make significantly more money in my actual business, which is the only reason why I still have the coaching, because a lot of that deal flow comes straight from there. I teach you what to do, and then I can help you do it.
Love it.
Yeah.
What do you think are some of the top qualities of the students that actually go out there and get it done and do it versus some that you've seen have engaged with you but then fall off after 3 months?
First, I try to set the right expectation with all of them. Like, this is going to take time, bro. You're starting a business. The average business doesn't make money for 3 years.
Yeah.
I know you'll make money your first 12 months, but you got it. I don't know if it'll come on day 342 or day 7. You know, the ones that come to day 7, of course, they see the proof in the pudding and they have the conviction, right? But a lot of, obviously, that's like maybe 10-15% of the time. The ones that succeed the most, that are the most patient, they just say, you know what, I'm going to do this till it works. because I'm like, bro, it definitely works. Like I'm right here doing it. And then they have a high risk tolerance and they don't care about money too much.
Yeah.
My worst students are the ones that are like, oh my God, what if I lose $1,000? I'm like, dude, you're trying to make $250 a year. Yeah, you're gonna lose $1,000. I lost like 80 before I got here, right? The goal is not how much you lose, it's how much you're gonna learn, how you're gonna make more.
Yeah.
Right? If you're just too tight with the money, then it's like, why? Let
Right.
the money work for you. I always tell them it's an inverse relation between money and like effort, right? The more money you spend in your business, the less effort it will take you to make money. But like when you don't have a lot of money, you don't think that way, right? So you're like, I'll just put in the effort. What do we know about 95% of people? They're not gonna work hard. And
Yeah.
they're not gonna work hard for more than 3 months without any results. And they fall off.
Yeah. You said to yourself it was 7 years of you grinding away, learning, figuring it out, pivoting till when you really got to this point. Speaking of that, right? You're not afraid to kind of show your lifestyle online, really.
I heard
a lot
this
of it,
shit,
right?
man. Yeah.
I love that perspective because a lot of people are like taught, coached, trained, raised to hide that stuff, right?
Yeah.
Hide the success, hide the wins, don't tell anybody. People are coming after you, right? This and that. I guess like you kind of just answered it, but like talk about why you're comfortable showing the watches, the cars, all that stuff. And like
Yeah.
maybe how that has helped you in a way too, right?
100%. Again, one, more eyeballs, more networking opportunities. Second, I earned this shit. So, I'm going to show it to you because I earned it. And then thirdly, I'm new money. So new money's loud, right?
Yeah.
Like I just got here. I'm like, dude, a McLaren is cool because I just got here, right? But I noticed about like a lot of people have had money for a long time. That flare just falls off. And slowly they sell all the BS that they had and start buying assets and their life gets boring. Which I'm sure will happen to me because slowly I'm like, do I really want another car? Do I really need another watch? Like, you don't need these things, and they do not make you happy, and you're only excited for like 2 days. Like, I got this. I don't even care about it anymore. Now I'm like, it's annoying. It stresses me out. I see a scratch. I get pissed off,
Yeah.
So I think the showing off part will fall off soon because I just got here, and I've been broke so long. I'm like, I'm just going to enjoy life, spend all of it because I know I can make it back. And then maybe when I'm like a little bit older, like 33, 34, I'm going to simmer down and buy the right things.
Yeah.
No,
that makes sense. Very exciting stuff. Talk to us about, right? 'Cause you've been swapping in and out of some cars. Worst car purchase, best car purchase.
Worst car purchase? Oh God.
Maybe what gets overhyped.
Honestly, I've been very smart with my car choices. I bought a course, and then like it taught me like, okay, the right cars to buy and the wrong cars to buy.
Yeah.
Right. And then I also like where I buy my cars from. Like I'm really close with them, so they like, all right, buy this model doesn't depreciate, this and that. And so I try to be very smart. Like all my dumb purchases, if you look at the back end, they're actually not that dumb.
Sure.
Right. I lost less money on my R8 than my Q8 that I paid like 1/3 the price for. Right. I lost like 33,000 on that car.
Yeah.
I think I lost 17 on my R8 and I drove it. I enjoyed it at the time of my life. It probably made me more money with the network I got with it. The 720 might be that car. We'll see. We'll see. It's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I can't drive it every day. It's basically not even waterproof, bro. If there's even a drop of water on the ground, I will die. Right? If it's below 52 degrees, I'm gliding places, right? So we'll see. And it's it is a McLaren. And Lord knows what's gonna happen. That shit might explode tomorrow. So that may not be. Well, we'll see. So far, everything's good. We drove it here. It's fine. The G63 was a tax write-off. That's the only reason I bought it. I was like, look, I'm either gonna give it to the government or give it to myself.
Right.
Let me give it to me.
Yeah.
And then I got an S-Class just because, unfortunately, for what I do for work, I cannot take either of those cars to Belmont Cragen or to any of these places that have the best deals. So I'm like, I need a car that's comfortable, but like low key,
more modest. Yeah.
more modest.
Love it.
That one with that one.
Amazing. A lot of founders, entrepreneurs, like they pride themselves in their morning routine, the health, their lifestyle, all this stuff, right? Going back to like kind of the social aspect of this stuff. What works for you though, right? Because I know like you got to have something that is for you that takes you out of that 60, 70, 80 plus hour work week sometimes.
So when I started, I had like I would wake up at 5 a.m. or 4:57 a.m. because odd numbers wake me up a little bit better.
Sure.
I'd get a coffee, read a book, and at like 6 o'clock, I'm getting ready for work. I hit the office at 7. I'm cold calling by 8. Miserable life. Hated that life, right? But now it's like a little bit different. Like I kept that routine, like mostly like wake up, whether it's at 5 a.m. or 7 a.m. or 8 a.m., read a book with my coffee and start the day. But now, by the time I'm up, whether it's at 7 or 8, there's just so many things on my phone. I'm like, I don't got time for this.
Yeah.
I just get up and go and do whatever I feel like doing that day. Like today, I woke up, I worked out, had some fresh air, got a coffee. Here I am, right? Yesterday, I woke up at 8:30, was in the office at 9. The day before that, probably at 10. Sometimes I'm there at 7, right? So I don't really have a routine. I think that's kind of like, just get up, go to work.
Yeah.
And that's how I look at it.
Yeah. If you need something to get you into the mentality to show up, it's usually like I feel like it's being forced by something else. Unless you naturally want to do it, right? Like I know a lot of people that have to work out in the morning because it makes them feel their best.
Oh, that's
which
different
makes
story.
them makes them perform better.
I mean, same. Like I worked out today, I'm on fire,
Yeah.
right? But just unfortunately, I don't do it every day.
You need balance. I think like that's the biggest thing. Like burnout and all that stuff like could be a real thing. And if you don't take care of yourself, then you're not doing 40 flips a year. So
True.
Okay, amazing. I have a couple little rapid fire questions I want to get into before we end. Really quick. Best deal you ever did, worst deal you ever did.
Best deal I ever did was like my third deal. We'll have a few in the pipeline that'll beat that. But as of now, it was a house in Arlington Heights. I bought off a wholesaler that I met through Instagram at a coffee shop. He recognized me, came up. 3 months later, I bought this house. We made $119,000 worth of profit in 4 months. Pure clean. That's like real numbers, not social media numbers. Hit the bank account. I give my investors 46% of that. So with my commission included, I made like 80 grand that month. I was like,
hell yeah.
Spend most of it. And then the worst deal was just recently, actually. It was a deal like when you're doing so many deals, like buying a house is like buying a piece of paper.
Sure.
Right? So I was like, nah, I don't need to go see it. I got the photos. My students went out there. They looked at it. I'm cool. Like I have a scope of what the work will be. We'll make good money on it, right? Oh my God, it was a nightmare. We closed on the property. I already own it. I walk in. I'm like, oh, fuck. It's going to cost 30 to 40 grand more than I expected. And it was going to make originally like $60,000. So when you do the math on it, I'm like, okay. And there's like 3 people involved. Because I'm like, fuck, I'll do it. You guys want to do it? I'll sign off on it. We'll get it done. So I'm like, am I really about to split 20 grand 3 ways? That seems so stupid. So I'm like, let's just put it back on the market. Let's sell it. Even if I can like break even or make 15 grand. The math was we're supposed to make like 15, 20. But it took so long to sell because we were under contract. And the buyer's loan took like 30, 40 days. And there was the septic issue. I ended up spending like an extra $18,000 on septic, this inspection. It was awful. When it was all said and done, the deal made $3,100.
Wow.
And we split that 3 ways.
Oh my God.
I was like, I probably spent more gas money to get to where I had to get to than that.
That's hilarious. Okay. One city or market you'd invest in right now or that you feel bullish on?
I don't really care about the cities, to be honest. I look at the deal, right?
Okay.
And within a half-mile radius, what's selling? If I'm buying at 40% of that number, I don't give a damn where I am. Unless I could get shot. So I'm never going to risk my life. Unless it's a specific city, which I cannot say out loud. Just bleep it if you could bleep it.
Yeah.
Mark them.
Yeah.
Don't ever buy anything in bleep. Don't do it. It's the worst place I have. You know what? That's
is there a story that goes along with that? Tell it.
I thought I had a great deal.
I don't know anybody from there. I don't know if I want to know anybody from there, but
it's not a bad area.
Yeah.
It's the city's a nightmare, right?
Sure.
That's why I bleep it because I'm still dealing with them. So.
Okay. Okay.
We bought this deal with $75,000 with a tenant in it, right? It was like this old lady, and I was like, okay. So we gave her the 60-day notice, and there's a pre-sale inspection, so you're supposed to fix the items. I'm like, lady will move. I'll fix the items. It's like a small couple of things, right? They shut the water off at the 60-day mark because I didn't. Okay, granted, I forgot, right? So I get down there. I'm like, all right, I pay $1,000 fine. They're like, we can't turn the water on until you fix these items.
Oh,
like,
is this a story you just posted about too? Or
that's
is this
the
a different
same
one?
house. This is like this 3 or 4 of these versions of these stories. Me trying to figure out what to do, right?
Okay.
They're like, you have to be there. Once they're telling me to be compassionate because I got an older lady there that's got brain surgery, this and that, and I don't care. I'm compassionate. We could hold on to it. But if you keep finding me, then I'm gonna have to evict this poor woman.
Sure.
And then the next day they won't give me my damn water. They're like, no, you need to get a rentals license. I'm like, it's not a rental. She hasn't paid rent. Like, what are you talking about? It's like, well, now you need eviction paperwork. Oh my God.
It's crazy.
I've been dealing with nonsense at that house, and it's a 30-minute drive every single time. And it's not even the tenant, because the tenant's actually like easy to deal with, right? She's just in a situation. Sometimes you're in a situation, right? And we understand it. Like, obviously I got a business to run, but you got a life to live. It is what it is. The city goes out of their way to insist I never buy in that area again. So never buy in that area. If you want to text me privately, I'll tell you where the private area is.
Love it.
Gotta hate that place. So,
I think I know your answer to this already, but long-term holds or flips?
flips. Long-term homes don't make any money, to be honest with you. Like, if I would say if you're deciding on which one you should do, you should meet a person that's bought like the long-term holds, and you should meet me, and let's compare lives and ages.
Yeah.
Right. And how long it took them to get to where they got to, and how long it took me to get to where I got to.
Yeah.
And you decide what life you want to live.
I think it's all about the age range, where
So
you're
true.
at in life, what you have going on, who you have to support, things of that nature.
It's facts.
Amazing. We have a closing question before we wrap up here that I ask everybody.
Ooh.
If there was one thing that you could tell your younger self, knowing what you know today, what would that age be, and what would that be?
I'll grab hold of myself at about 19, 20 years old, and I'll be like, check the ego. You ain't shit, so you're not that special. And then I would say, ask for help. Those three things. If I had checked the ego, because I thought I was a man.
Yeah.
For no reason. I've achieved nothing in life, except being a 4.9 rated Uber driver, which is a great achievement if you drive Uber. 4.97. Okay. So check the ego, realize that I'm not that special and I do need help, and then go ask for help. Because if I just asked for help, people would have given me the information I learned the hard way.
Sure.
7 years down the road. And that shift happened in my life about my 4th year in real estate, when I was still broke and still hadn't made any real money. I was like, maybe I'm not that special. That's when I checked the ego. That following year, I made 6 figures. And then obviously, here we are today.
Amazing. Amazing advice. Aram, tell the middle camera where they could find you, follow you, get into contact.
Perfect. So you can follow me on Aram G Realty on pretty much every platform, Instagram, TikTok. And if you just Google Aram Real Estate on YouTube, you'll find all the videos there. Please don't watch the old ones.
Awesome. Super great episode. Aram, thank you again.
Appreciate it,
Link
bro.
Live. That's a wrap.